The young woman named Anna, 22, had been enduring the life of an unpaid maid in her own million-dollar mansion in an upscale Boston neighborhood. For 12 years, her stepmother Diana and her two freeloading children, Kyle and Clara, had stripped her of her peace and her inheritance. The oppression reached its climax on a cold evening. Diana, with a cold and arrogant face, declared, "Your father and I have agreed. It is time for you to pay $800 in monthly rent." Anna paused. She turned off the stove, put the spoon down, and smiled. Because in her hands was a great legal secret. The entire house legally belonged solely to her. This is the story of how Anna, from an exploited Cinderella, became the queen, and delivered a legal revenge that forced the entire parasitic family to pack up and leave in less than 2 weeks. Anna was only 8 years old when her beloved mother passed away from aggressive breast cancer. The loss was not only devastating for Anna, but also for her father, a consulting entrepreneur building his own company. He was absolutely wrecked, barely able to function for the first year. Fortunately, Anna's maternal grandparents, two kind-hearted and dedicated people, decided to move in to care for her. Their house was a large 4-bedroom classic mansion located in an old but expensive neighborhood of Boston, a property they had bought for Anna's mother years ago. Their plan was to protect Anna, ensuring she had stability and love during those most difficult years. Life remained peaceful until 2 years later. Anna's father met Diana, a 43-year-old woman, at a business conference. Diana was a sharp, confident event coordinator, and she quickly recognized an opportunity in a lonely, grieving widower with a solid financial foundation. Anna's father was completely captivated by Diana. Within just 6 months of meeting, they announced their marriage. Diana did not arrive alone. She brought her 2 children from a previous relationship, Kyle, then 11, now 25, a thoroughly spoiled boy, and Clara, then 7, now 21, who was initially amiable but gradually became arrogant and lazy under her mother's influence. Anna's grandparents noticed the calculated look in Diana's eyes. They harbored deep suspicions that she was only after her son-in-law's assets and stable income. Although their intuition warned them, they chose to remain silent, unwilling to further damage the fragile family relationship of Anna's father, who had already endured so much loss. Immediately after the marriage, Diana began her plan to seize financial control. Anna's father often had to travel for work to grow his consulting company. Diana leveraged this to persuade him to hand over full management of the family accounts and daily expenses to her. She painted a picture of perfect support, claiming she would lessen the burden on him. But her true purpose was to legitimize using her husband's money. Diana immediately used his company credit cards and the family accounts to pay off the huge personal debts she and Kyle had accumulated. Notably, she paid Kyle's expensive college tuition despite his lack of career prospects. She even frequently bought fake luxury items, justifying it as investing in the family's professional image. Anna's grandparents tried to intervene. They pointed out the unreasonable expenditures, especially large transfers to Diana's personal accounts. But Diana always had a cover story: bank errors, accounting mistakes, or worse. She implied the grandparents were too old-fashioned and didn't understand modern business. Anna's father, exhausted and deeply infatuated with Diana, chose to believe his wife, gradually distancing himself from his in-laws' advice. This is precisely why the grandparents decided to take secret legal action. Diana then turned her attention to the house. She constantly complained about the outdated interior and the need for modern upgrades. This upgrade included arbitrarily discarding or giving away old decorative items, especially those that held memories of Anna's mother. 12-year-old Anna once cried hysterically when she discovered her mother's collection of family photos, and a cookbook of handwritten recipes had been boxed up for the trash by Diana, who claimed they were too old and created negative energy. Diana's manipulation was not just about money. It was about completely erasing the memory of the former wife and establishing the house as her own domain. Anna began to realize she was living under a dictatorship. She soon became the unpaid servant in her own home. Kyle, now graduated but unemployed, claimed to be a content creator, but he was really just a gaming addict, playing Fortnite all day, and occasionally posting awkward dance videos on TikTok for a few hundred followers. Clara, Anna's stepsister, was busy partying and maintaining a perfect image on social media. Neither of them ever did any housework. Anna's father paid for all their expenses, from their apartment rent, before they moved in permanently, to their credit cards, and Anna, the young woman who worked part-time at Starbucks to pay for her own schooling and personal expenses, was the one responsible for all the duties of a full-time maid. She had to cook, clean, do laundry, and pick up the mess left by 3 lazy adults. She did not know that she was not just the maid. She was the owner of the house. Anna's life throughout her teenage and early adult years was one of total exploitation. Diana was a terrible, incessantly critical supervisor. She never lifted a finger, but was always the first to inspect and complain about Anna's work quality. Whenever Diana walked through the living room, she would wipe her finger across the mantelpiece, and if she found even a speck of dust, her rage would erupt. "Anna, sweetheart, what on earth are you doing? Do you think school and being a barista are more important than keeping this house clean? Your father works hard to provide this roof over your head, and this is how you repay him." Diana constantly used Anna's affection for her father to apply pressure. Anna was responsible for the laundry, which included Kyle's foul-smelling clothes. His room was a constant battlefield, littered with energy drink cans and old pizza boxes. Diana never asked Kyle to clean up, instead telling Anna, "Kyle is in a demanding creative phase. Your sister must support her brother. That is family love." Anna often had to use a mask and gloves to pick up scattered dirty socks and Kyle's sweaty gaming gear. Clara was no better. She had dozens of expensive shoes and clothes, all paid for by Anna's father, of course, strewn everywhere. When Anna asked Clara to help fold laundry, Clara would pretend to be busy checking messages on Instagram or declare, "I have to join an online meeting for a fashion project. I can't let my mind be distracted by such petty chores." This physical and emotional exploitation exhausted Anna. She often had to study and do chores until late at night, getting only a few hours of sleep. Diana not only exploited her labor, but she also isolated Anna. Diana continuously sought to undermine Anna's relationship with her father, telling him Anna was ungrateful and lazy in front of him. Whenever Anna wanted to go out with friends, Diana would immediately assign her urgent chores. Anna began to realize she could not continue living like this. She needed an escape plan. She knew Diana was siphoning off her father's finances, but she did not know how to fight back. One afternoon, when Anna's father was on a business trip, and Diana, Kyle, and Clara were out shopping, trips that cost thousands of dollars monthly, Anna decided to look for evidence. She knew her father had a small safe hidden behind an old painting in his office. Anna remembered the combination, her parents' wedding anniversary. She carefully opened the safe. Inside she found insurance papers, the house deed, and a thick document she had never seen. Anna's Inherited Asset Trust Agreement, 2019-2020. Anna skimmed the document, her heart pounding. She nearly collapsed. This trust agreement was established by her maternal grandparents right after they began to notice Diana's financial control over her father. The content was surprisingly specific. The sole legal owner of the Boston house was Anna. The transfer was completed before the grandparents passed away, using a complex legal maneuver to avoid inheritance taxes. Anna's father was only appointed as the property manager until Anna turned 25. However, the agreement included an early release clause if Anna proved she could be self-sufficient or felt threatened or suffered financial emotional abuse. Along with the house, a special protective fund was established, containing a significant amount of cash to cover all of Anna's college tuition, along with a sum for renovations or upgrades to the house as she wished, with the specific purpose of preventing Diana's interference with the asset. This agreement was the clearest evidence of the grandparents' complete distrust of Diana and her father's weakness in concealing this truth for so many years. Anna was no longer Cinderella. She was the mistress of this mansion. Tears streamed down her face, not from sadness, but from relief and boundless gratitude for her grandparents. She carefully took photos of every page of the document with her phone, saved them in an encrypted cloud service, then returned the document to the safe, closing it as if nothing had happened. Anna knew she could not act alone. She needed a perfect strategy. After the shocking discovery, Anna could not sleep. She spent the entire night studying the trust documents, particularly the early release clause and the owner's self-determination right. She knew she held all the legal power, but she needed to use it precisely. One wrong move could allow Diana to find a loophole. The next morning, Anna made her first call. She called her mother's best friend, Elise, who was now a prominent real estate lawyer in New York. Anna created an anonymous email account and sent all the photos of the document to Elise. Elise was shocked upon reading the documents and immediately called Anna back. "Oh my God." "Anna!" Elise's voice was full of astonishment. "Your grandparents were absolute geniuses. They foresaw this. Your father violated his fiduciary duty as property manager when he allowed Diana to exploit your asset and concealed the truth. But more importantly, you are absolutely the homeowner. No one can demand you pay rent in your own house. Elise spent 2 hours explaining Massachusetts law and the trust agreement. She emphasized evidence of abuse must be gathered. Anna had to start recording every conversation with Diana, Kyle, and Clara. Elise advised Anna to install automatic recording apps and small wireless security cameras in common areas. Anna must be patient. Don't reveal this secret until Diana digs her own grave, Elise advised. She will try to force you out. Let her state the demand for rent. That will be the final act proving her abuse. Legal action must be taken swiftly and decisively. Once Anna declares ownership, she must immediately serve a legal eviction notice, giving them no time to react. Anna followed Elise's advice meticulously. She bought a small voice recorder pen and 2 tiny wireless security cameras, installing them in the living room and kitchen, where Diana often staged her dramas. She continued to play the role of the oppressed Cinderella. She still cleaned, still worked at Starbucks. But inside, she was a queen preparing for the final war. Meanwhile, the chaos within Diana's family grew. Kyle, unemployed and without prospects, became increasingly aggressive because Diana couldn't provide him with more money. Kyle demanded an expensive new gaming PC to upgrade his streamer career, while his father's credit cards had maxed out. Clara, always living in a delusional bubble, faced reality when her credit card was declined at a luxury fashion store. She cried hysterically to Diana. Diana in turn grew angrier and tried to pressure Anna's father to pump more money into the accounts. Diana believed Anna would meekly accept, because she was the only one in the house working. She wanted Anna to contribute a portion of her barista salary to support her and her 2 freeloading children. Everything converged on a fateful Wednesday evening. Anna had just returned from an exhausting shift at Starbucks and was cooking dinner. She was trying to prepare a simple meal for herself when Diana walked in, face cold, and announced the news that changed everything. The atmosphere in the kitchen was thick with tension. Anna was preparing vegetables, trying to ignore Kyle's loud victory shouts from upstairs in his video game and the blaring pop music from the living room where Clara was recording an Instagram story video. The small voice recorder pen hidden in Anna's apron pocket was ready. Diana entered the kitchen, paying no attention to what Anna was doing. She stood with her arms crossed, her half-rimmed reading glasses perched on her nose, and declared in a cold, decisive tone, "Anna, your father and I have talked, and we have reached a final decision. It is time for you to contribute financially to this house. You must pay rent." Anna stopped, the kitchen knife hovering over the cutting board. She turned around, feigning surprise. "I have to pay rent. I do chores every day, I work part-time, and I pay for my own tuition. I already contribute most of my earnings to the family's living expenses, Diana." Diana sneered, annoyed by Anna's questioning attitude. "Don't play innocent. Chores are your responsibility, and your education is your own affair. We are talking about actual living costs. Your father is under immense pressure. We need your support." She stated the price, $800 per month, plus a portion of the utility costs, and of course, Anna would still have to continue her unpaid housework. Anna looked Diana directly in the eye. She asked a crucial question. What about Kyle and Clara? They don't work. They don't study seriously. They use the most utilities in the house, and they never do chores. Are they also paying rent? Diana immediately put up a defensive wall. Oh, that's completely different. Kyle is pursuing his content creation career and needs to focus on building his brand. Clara is concentrating on her college education and her important social network for the future. They are still in the process of getting established. You, Anna, are 22. You have a job. You must be independent. It's time for you to take responsibility. Diana's audacity made Anna want to laugh, but she knew this was the golden opportunity Elise had warned her about. Kyle's content creation career was playing games all day, and Clara's focusing on education was partying and maxing out credit cards. Anna completely turned off the stove, put the spoon down and wiped her hands with a towel. This was the moment she had been waiting for. She took a deep breath, took off her apron, and walked out of the kitchen, heading towards the living room. "Diana," Anna said, her voice firm, "stop with the ridiculous lies. I can't stand it anymore. Demanding I pay rent is an absurd and selfish act." Diana followed Anna, her face turning red with anger. "Anna, what is this attitude? You should be grateful we let you stay here. I will call your father." "Stop!" Anna cut her off sharply. She stood in the middle of the living room, near her father's expensive leather chair and Diana's fake designer bag. She looked into Diana's astonished eyes. "I won't pay you $800 in rent, Diana," Anna declared. She looked straight at the small security camera she had installed the previous week, ensuring her voice was clear. "Because this house, this Bundar's $200,000 house, is entirely mine." Silence fell over the house. Clara's music suddenly stopped. Kyle, who had been shouting about losing his game, abruptly went silent. Diana's face froze, looking like a flawed wax statue. The initial astonishment turned into anger mixed with contempt. "What?" Diana scoffed, trying to regain her arrogance. "What nonsense is this girl talking about? Is this some new joke? This house belongs to your father and me. You have no rights here, Anna, none at all." "Oh, really, Diana?" Anna asked coldly. She reached into her pocket and took out her phone. She opened a PDF document. "I have the documentation proving that the entire ownership was transferred to me, Anna, by my grandparents before they passed away. I am the legal owner. You and your 2 children are merely uninvited occupants." Diana burst into manic, fake laughter. "You're crazy!" "This can't be true. Your father would never do that. I'm calling him right now. Let him tell you himself." Diana immediately stormed into Anna's father's office. Kyle and Clara, curious and anxious, lurked outside the door trying to eavesdrop. Anna calmly followed, keeping her distance and making sure the voice recorder pen was still active. Diana called her husband, putting him on speakerphone. Her voice shifted to a falsely sweet tone, trying to present herself as a patient wife. "Darling, I'm sorry to call now, but Anna is saying some strange things about the house. She says she's the owner and we have no rights." "That's not true, is it? You and I are the ones on the deed." A long silence ensued on the phone, making the air in the hallway even more stifling. Anna stared at Diana, her face completely expressionless. She knew the truth, but she needed to hear it from her father's own mouth. Finally, Anna's father's voice came through, clearly sounding tired and guilty. I'm sorry, Diana, it's true. My in-laws transferred the house ownership to Anna before they passed away. They established a trust to ensure— Boom! The sound was like a bomb exploding. Diana's face changed from angry red to ashen white. She let out a shriek, losing all pretense of composure. "What? You knew? You hid this from me for 12 years? Tell me!" Diana yelled into the phone. Anna's father's voice became weaker. I had to do what they asked. It was their requirement to ensure Anna was safe. "I'm sorry." Diana threw the phone against the wall, shattering it. She turned to Anna, her eyes blazing with fury. You knew! You let me live like this. You will pay." Anna calmly said, "I've known for a while. But I let you dig your own grave. You've proven that you don't love my father or me. You only love his money." Diana ran upstairs, slamming the master bedroom door shut. Kyle and Clara dared not say a word. They looked at Anna with horror and anger, realizing that their gaming zone and walk-in closet were actually owned by the person they had been exploiting. The next day, Anna happened to overhear Diana calling her father, who was at a hotel. The voice recorder pen captured the entire malicious plot. "You have to do something, Darren," Diana cried, now resorting to pleading tactics. "I cannot lose this house. You have to pressure her. You must tell her you want her to go to college far away, somewhere she can't easily come back. You have to say it's for her own future. Otherwise, you and I will lose everything." And the most painful part for Anna, her father weakly agreed to consider it. He was still so manipulated by Diana that he was willing to push his own daughter away to save this fake marriage. Afterward, Anna's father called Anna. His voice was exhausted, no longer angry like Diana's, but filled with deep remorse. "Anna, I'm sorry I hid this from you. Your grandparents did the right thing. But you have to understand, I love Diana. I don't want to lose her. She says if you claim ownership, she will leave me. She's suggesting that you should go to college in Florida or Texas." Anna interrupted her father, her voice full of disappointment. "You want me to leave the home my grandparents left me, just to keep a woman who has deceived you, exploited me, and is plotting to push you into financial hardship. Dad, I'm sorry, but I'm not going anywhere." The call ended, and Anna had no doubt left. Her father had chosen Diana, and now it was time for Anna to protect herself. She immediately sent the recording of Diana's plot to Elise. Elise, upon hearing it, sent a short text. "Excellent." She sealed her fate. "Time for the final blow. You don't need to talk to your father anymore, Anna. The lawyer will handle it." Anna had it all: legal proof of ownership and recorded evidence of abuse, manipulation, and the plot to evict her. It was time for her to turn Diana's chessboard into her own playing field. The next morning, breakfast was served in a terrifying silence. Diana, though exhausted from a sleepless night of worry, tried to maintain her arrogant composure. Kyle and Clara barely dared to look up from their plates. Anna walked in, holding a stack of documents and a large printed sheet of paper. She placed them on the dining table. "I have been thinking about your rent demand, Diana," Anna said calmly, her voice resonating in the dining room. Diana, with her swollen eyes, looked up. She thought Anna had accepted defeat and was scared. "Good. so $800 is the starting price. I will. Anna cut her off politely but firmly. Not $800. I checked the rent prices in this neighborhood. This 4-bedroom house valued at $200,000 can be rented for at least $3,600 per month. Therefore, I agree with you, Diana frowned. Agree with what? Anna pushed the printed paper across to Diana. I agree that all able-bodied adults not working and living in this house should contribute. I have calculated $200 per person, including you, Kyle, and Clara. That totals $3,600 per month, not including utilities and a security deposit equal to 1 month's rent. Kyle choked on his orange juice, coughing violently. Clara nearly dropped her phone. Diana stared at the number 3,600, her eyes wide. You're crazy! You can't do that. Anna nodded. I can, because I am the homeowner, and I have recorded everything. She pressed the play button on her phone, loudly playing the recording from last night. You must tell her you want her to go to college far away. Otherwise you and I will lose everything. Diana jumped up. She completely lost control, her face twitching with rage. How dare you? You secretly recorded me. You are breaking the law. I will sue you. I will make your life a living hell. Anna turned off the phone, a cold smile on her lips. Massachusetts law allows single-party consent recording, Diana, and I was a party to that conversation. You admitted to plotting to push me out of the house. Everything is recorded. Just then the doorbell rang. It was a process server, and he handed Anna a large envelope. Anna opened it, taking out 3 copies. What is that? Diana growled. Anna placed the 3 copies in front of Diana, Kyle, and Clara. This is a legally binding notice to quit, officially giving you 14 days to vacate my property. She had hired a local lawyer through Elise to proceed with the legal formalities. Anna no longer spoke to Diana. She only spoke as the homeowner. Diana, in a panic, tried to call Anna's father, but it was too late. Anna's lawyer had already sent a legal notice to her father, stating clearly that he had violated the trust agreement and was stripped of his property management rights, and further warned him not to interfere with the eviction process. Anna had officially delivered the decisive blow. The 14-day eviction period began. The house became more tense than a battleground. Diana, from the esteemed house manager, was now the one being evicted. She began a series of desperate actions. The first thing Diana did was try to find a lawyer. She called nearly a dozen reputable law firms in Boston, but none would take her case. When the lawyers reviewed the trust document, they all shook their heads. Diana had no legal ground. The house was Anna's sole property. After failing in the legal sphere, Diana turned to the social sphere. She posted a long, dramatic post on Facebook, lamenting the ungrateful, cruel stepdaughter and how Anna had betrayed her father for money. However, Anna had Elise, Anna's mother's best friend, had been silently observing Diana for years. Elise jumped into the comments section. She publicly revealed screenshots of how Diana had treated Anna over the years, including old photos showing Anna cleaning the house while Kyle and Clara played, and even Diana's old posts mocking Anna's clothes and appearance. Diana was severely attacked by the online community and was forced to delete her account. As the eviction deadline approached, Diana's anger turned into petty theft and vandalism. She began pocketing small valuable items Anna's father had bought during their marriage, claiming they were personal assets. Anna had anticipated this. The security camera she installed in Part 3 came into play. One morning, Anna reviewed the footage. She was horrified but not surprised. Diana was seen sneaking into Anna's mother's old room, where Anna kept some old jewelry given by her grandparents. Diana was clearly seen putting a gold necklace and a sapphire ring into her fake designer handbag. Anna printed clear images of Diana committing the theft. She called her lawyer, who advised her to call the police immediately to file a report. The police arrived, and Anna presented the video evidence. Diana fiercely denied it, but the officer requested she open her handbag. When the necklace was found, Diana could only scream in despair. This event was the final straw for Anna's father. He had been staying in a hotel and barely spoke to Diana. Upon hearing that Diana had attempted theft, he called Anna, his voice full of defeat. Anna, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I can't believe she would do this. I'm filing for divorce. You don't need to worry about me interfering with the eviction. Just do what you have to do to take back your house. Finally, her father had awakened. Anna felt a faint sadness, but disappointment overshadowed everything. She merely replied, "Thank you, Dad, good luck." The final day arrived. It was the day the eviction order was executed, and Anna was ready. On that fateful morning, Diana, in a final attempt to salvage her honor or her delusion, staged a dramatic family meeting in the living room. She wore her latest dress and announced to Kyle and Clara that she had chosen to leave this toxic house to pursue a better, more peaceful life in Florida. She declared that their father would soon follow. Just as Diana reached the climax of her speech, detailing the sunny, coconut-filled new life, a large moving truck pulled up outside. Professional movers, hired by Anna and supervised by her lawyer, walked into the house. Diana gasped. "Who are they? Who allowed them in?" Anna walked down the stairs, neatly dressed, holding an iPad with the trust documents. "I allowed them. They are movers, and they are here to pack and transport your, Kyle's and Clara's belongings to your new address. You have 30 minutes to inspect the items before they start loading everything onto the truck." Chaos erupted. Diana, Kyle, and Clara screamed, protested, and tried to stop the movers. But the movers professionally and unyieldingly carried out their work. They began packing everything: Kyle's gaming PC, Clara's dozens of shoes, and Diana's clothes and jewelry. During the packing, the movers accidentally tore one of Diana's handbags, exposing the fake label and poor quality. Then, a deputy sheriff arrived to supervise the property handover. Diana tried one last move. She pointed to some minor scratches on the floor caused by Kyle and claimed Anna had vandalized her property for revenge. The deputy sheriff pointed to the small security camera Anna had installed. "Ms. Diana, I see a security camera. If you make a false report, you will face another charge." Diana immediately fell silent. Anna and the deputy sheriff conducted the final house inspection. After 12 years of exploitation, Anna stood in her house with absolute authority. Diana and Anna's father. Her father filed for divorce shortly after. Diana, penniless and homeless, was forced to move into her sister's cramped apartment in the suburbs. She constantly complained on her old social media about having to wash dishes herself and the lack of sunlight. Kyle couldn't sustain his freeloading lifestyle. His father completely cut off financial support. He had to sell his gaming PC to afford a miserable shared room and had to take a job at a game retail store. Clara, losing her endless source of money, had to borrow from friends and was forced to commute 2 hours a day by public transport to her university. And Anna? She used a portion of the trust fund money to renovate and upgrade the house. She converted Kyle's room into her new home office, furnished with designer items. She turned Diana's room into a tranquil yoga studio. Elise, her mother's best friend and a great source of help, is currently renting one of the spare rooms. She is teaching Anna all of her mother's old recipes and helping her slowly replace the commemorative items that Diana had thrown away. Anna finally found peace. She was finally living in her own house, no longer a Cinderella but the sole mistress. Justice was served coldly and legally. She got everything back.